Ooh. Well, hello there. Let's see if my mic works better today. Yesterday I noticed about half of the words I was saying were being cut off by audio settings from my microphone. Since I'm drawing, I'm kind of mumbling a lot, and it appears that maybe I fixed some of that, or maybe it's worse. I tried increasing my highs a little bit, because, yeah, I thought, maybe it's like cutting off the higher parts of some of the words. So, for instance, I noticed that a lot of my T's and stuff like that were being edited out, probably by some sort of noise cancellation thing that's on my OBS Studios or something like that. Because I did have a noise. I had a couple filters on my microphone to try and get rid of the sound of my computer fan. But, yeah, all right. Let's hop to it. All right. So, you may also notice that it is not the time where I thought I was going to be doing this. And that is because my phone died, and my phone is my alarm. And so I woke up an hour later. That explains why I'm doing this 2 hours later. It entirely makes sense. All right, so what are we doing? This is what I try to do in the mornings when I have time. Master Shots Volume 2 challenge. In the future, I should probably not write this out every time. I should just have it pre-written. This is a book by Christopher Kenworthy, who is someone who's written multiple books on cinematography and camera movements, and tries to break it down in a very simplistic way so that newcomers to... I mean, it's mostly for cinematography, but it's really good for storyboard artists as well. Just kind of explain, like, why is there camera motivation? Like, what's this camera move emotionally do? Like, what does the audience feel when they see this thing? Master Shots Volume 2, the reason why I recommend this book more than the first one, is Master Shots Volume 2 is specifically on dialogue scenes. It is dedicated to like 120 different ways to spice up dialogue scenes in terms of how they visually look. Because a common issue that a lot of beginning storyboard artists have is that they will just do over the shoulder shots for every single dialogue scene, where everything is just a back and forth between two characters. And these are boring. They are really, really, really boring. Like, they are also boring to board. Like, as a board artist, anytime I start doing this, where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have two characters talk back and forth, my brain leaves the scene. Like, I just stop thinking whenever I start doing scenes like this. Now, that doesn't mean over the shoulder shots are bad by any means. Over the shoulder shots are actually very useful, and they're very simple, and you can do them quickly and effectively. The issue is that they tend to be a crutch for having to do hard mental work for a dialogue scene. This is actually probably why they're used more in like TV shows and stuff like that. It's because if you have a tight schedule or production, especially in live action where, you know, you have like 3 cameras set up, it's very easy to do over the shoulder shots and save time. Because you can't like storyboard a whole, 45-minute TV show episode as quickly as the production needs it to be done. So that's why over the shoulders are used a lot, but they also tend to be lazy. They tend to be really lazy, and part of the reason for this is because if they're overused, they don't differentiate themselves from any other shot in the scene or in the episode. So for instance, this scene is like this, and then maybe 10 minutes later we have another scene where it's just 2 characters talking, like this, and we have another scene that's just characters talking like this, and this person's sad or something. Maybe we're breaking into the third act or something like that, and then something dramatic happens, and it is still characters talking like this. And so this is why over the shoulder shots, in my opinion, can become a crutch and they can become lazy, because you can use them in basically any scene, but to the audience it doesn't register as this scene or this moment was more important than the previous moment. Over the shoulder shots, in my opinion, should mostly be used for if you're trying to make a strong emotional connection between two characters. So, sorry, I'm going on to a rant here, but you know what? This will be a nice little tidbit of information. So, for instance, let's think of Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds, not to be confused with Ice Cube's War of the Worlds, is a lot of the movie has wider shots in terms of how the characters interact, how the son or the dad talks to his children. There is constantly this like separation between characters. Here's a scene where he, like, I don't know, he threw a sandwich against the window and it's sticking there, something like that. There's constantly this separation or this void between the father and his kids, or else he's looking in one direction and they're like in the car. It's that really cool long tracking shot and the kids are behind him. They're never on the same page. And so what happens is in the movie, very, very rarely, you will get a standard over the shoulder shot where he's like talking with his kids or something like that. And because of this, these over the shoulder shots feel really strong and emotional, because the entire movie you are used to the characters not connecting. You're used to the characters not being able to emotionally express themselves to one another. And so what happens is once you get to an over the shoulder shot, it feels genuine because you're not used to that in the movie. And that movie is very, very stressful. So these calm shots where it's just like, hey, it's two people talking to each other and over the shoulders, they feel a lot more powerful than if the entire movie was based off of over the shoulder shots. So, by the way, this was a long-winded opening to explain why you should buy Master Shots Volume 2 by Christopher Kenworthy if you're a storyboard artist, because it gives you 120 different options for how to shoot dialogue scenes without overly relying on over the shoulder shots. I think that's literally like the opening paragraph of the book. It's like, hey, are you tired of using over the shoulder shots? Here's better ways to do it. I should just say OTS. I know that's the more professional way to say over the shoulder, but I don't know. For other people, it might be a little confusing. Anyway, so what's this challenge? Master Shots Volume 2. So this challenge is something that I do in the mornings where, you know, I try to draw on average one drawing every 15 to 20 seconds for 22 minutes. Yeah, I should have typed this out beforehand. I shouldn't have just, I shouldn't be writing this out every time I do this. So we're going to do 22.5 minutes per session. So ideally, somewhere between 80 to 90 drawings should be drawn by the end of this session. And then we combine two sections from Master Shots Volume 2. So that means while I'm storyboarding, it's a straight ahead storyboarding where there's no script beforehand. I'm just making it up as I go along. I'm trying to hit two different sections from the book and combine them together. So then that way it works as like a guide for me as I'm storyboarding, where I'm like, okay, maybe I need to do a switch, like a walk and talk switch. So a walk and talk switch is where, like, you know, two characters are walking and talking for a long time. Here's character one, here's character two, and then character two suddenly switches onto the other side, where he moves over there. Maybe because the dialogue changed or something like that, or he made a point that then counters character one's point. So that's what I do here, is I try to randomly pick two sections from the book and then combine them together. Unfortunately, I now have a dice roller app that I'm using that allows me to randomly pick two sections from the book, which could be really stressful if the two moments don't fit. But you know, that's the point of this. It's the trying to increase the ability to do things on the fly and know exactly what needs to be done given the parameters of the scene. Okay, so I rolled 59, which would be section 5.9. So section 5.9 is pacing. It is pacing scenes. So whatever scene I board needs to be a pacing scene. And so pacing scene is where there's a character who is just walking back and forth. This is used, as the book explains. Again, please buy it. If you're a storyboard artist, this is relevant to you. Where one character is walking and talking to a whole bunch of other characters. So maybe, as mentioned, this is usually used for like military scenes where someone's having to talk to a whole bunch of people, and so they're walking down a long line of people, and they're pacing back and forth. A vertical view of it would be something like, you know, here's this character, and he's going down the line, and maybe he goes back and forth, or something like that. A scene like this could also be used in like a jail scene, where there's a whole bunch of prisoners or something like that. There's a lot of fun ways that we could do a pacing scene. All right, so now I'm going to do the dice roller. I'm going to roll it again. And hopefully it does not hit a section that is completely irrelevant to what I'm doing right now. Give me a second. There's one section in this book that, yeah, I think it rolled right to the section. Okay. Arc and push. Okay. I know what kind of shot this is. All right. So I rolled a 95, so we're going to go to 9.5. And so this is arc and push. All right. I think I know how I can combine these. So arc and push is where, again, the book actually explains this. So like you can see it and it gives a good description. Arc and push is where you might have characters that are they're talking to each other, and these are, I think, usually used for romantic moments or something like that. But then the camera arcs around to being kind of in front of them. This is swoosh, swoosh, and then it pushes in. And so the point of this is that it causes tension, specifically if you're doing like a romantic scene, that, oh my goodness, are they gonna smooch? Is this gonna happen? Because there's this negative space here. However, an arc and push could be used for other things. It doesn't necessarily need to be used for romantic moments, but this is just a way that the camera move can be used to create tension between two characters to maybe get closer to one another. Okay, so that is the explanation for what I will be starting to do. And I'm going to need to very, very quickly figure out, what could I do? This is going to be a tricky one because I have not done, arc and push in a while. It's not that it's hard. It's just I need to figure out how it works with pacing. Well, I guess these all don't need to be the same shot. That's an issue I have, is I tend to turn everything into one long tracking shot. That's just, I don't know, it's just how I think. It's how I board. And so that tendency to do that might overcomplicate things. Let's see, we need pacing. Okay. All right. I think I know what I'm gonna do. I think I'm just mentally laying out like how the camera should move. Because I don't want to just do a military scene. Because I feel like a military scene's a little boring. Could still be military themed. Alright. Well, I better get my head in the game. Because I need to start this drawing session. Or else I'll just sit here all day and think about, or think of excuses for why I shouldn't start drawing. Now, will I be cheap and start with an insert shot at the very beginning? The answer is probably yes. Also, what aspect ratio will we be in? We are going to be in a scope ratio. These last couple days we've been doing Academy, and maybe I need to do something a little new. Okay. Opening shots, I'm okay with not including in the timer. Something that establishes the setting. Just because I don't want to rush opening shots, if that makes sense. All right, we're gonna have something's, there's some sort of hallway, something like that. Okay. I'm gonna have, there's, you may notice that I actually used the same type of shot, like, I'm gonna say that there's someone over here, some big guy. He has a sword. This is going to be a fantasy thing. I do not usually do fantasy stories. Alright. There's columns or something. And maybe there's a fake light source over here. Okay. Alrighty. I'm about to hit the timer. Time to make this up. Okay. Use a smaller brush. I'm gonna say these are two people who are talking. I don't know what they're talking about. Actually, I'm gonna add a shot right beforehand. These two characters, not a shot, I mean a panel. These two characters should be walking in different directions. It's like, hey. It's like he's saluting him. It's like, dude. Chill. Maybe he knows that this guy's nervous or something like that. This guy's, maybe he is a little nervous. Maybe they're about to go into battle or something. Okay, I said it wasn't going to be military. I realize this is still technically military. It's medieval fantasy military, but it's not. That's not what I meant. Okay. Let's draw this guy as a triangle. I should probably zoom in. My hand's getting tired from being cramped up like this. I don't know what fantasy universe this is in. I think also for this, I might simplify characters' faces to just be basic shapes. More so than usual, just because I want it to be known that there's multiple characters, but I also don't want to I don't want all the characters to look identical to each other. He's looking up at maybe some art or mural as he's walking by. Oops, I forgot the other guy is way over there. So you may remember that I used the same kind of shot, I think, on the first one I did. First of these drawing sessions. I need to just delete that guy. It's a great way to introduce someone into a new setting or area, to have them walk towards the camera. And then the camera will turn as they stop halfway to look at something, because it gives them a moment of pause before entering into a new location that might be relevant to the plot. So you see now he's kind of dragging behind onto screen left. So it's showing that he's taking a moment before he has to rush into whatever this next scene is going to be. And maybe there's going to be like smoke and fire and stuff like that. Something big is happening outside. And, you know, maybe he doesn't feel like he wants to go in there. So that's why there's a little bit of a pause. Now this pause is only for like a second. It's not long. It's really, really brief. But the point of it is to just add a moment of hesitation. I'm going to put 2 guards here. I just want to feel like there's... No, I want the 2 guards outside. I want to feel like there's something that's happening that he should be seeing and other people are seeing. And so that's drawing him out. Because people always like to see what other people are seeing. Like, you know, if there's a crowd gathering. And so psychologically, if we see through the doorway that there are people outside already looking at something, we know that we as the audience should also be out there. We should be out there seeing what's happening. We want to know what's happening. Why is there smoke? Is there explosions? What's going on? I'm gonna make him a little taller. So he's gonna enter into maybe there's the guards. There he is entering into a new setting, and maybe there's smoke and fire and stuff out there. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm gonna have him go down a staircase. I'm gonna be very brief with this because I've noticed, and maybe other people have too, I have a habit spending a lot of time on these openings. I don't know what the guards were standing on. I spend a lot of time on just getting a character from one location to another. So here's guards, here's other guard, here's our guy. We are going to have him walk down this staircase because I want it to feel like he is descending into something. You know, he's not ascending into a battle, he's descending into something maybe he doesn't want to look at. Maybe he really actually doesn't want to be here at all. And then the other thing that's going to be important is we're going to set up that there's going to be a border, a hard border on screen left that he will not cross. And there's going to be people at this border to make it feel like it's a threshold between something big happening. You know what I mean? Like something's about to happen, but they're not there yet. They can't get there yet. So this is going to be like the wall for like, I don't know, a castle or something like that. See? Boom. All right, cool. This perspective does not work at all. All right, whatever. This perspective sucks. All right, I'm just gonna redraw that. None of that drawing was good. All right, we'll just make this up as I go. Yeah, ignore bad perspective. I mean, ideally on the job, don't ignore bad perspective. Fix it. But like in this case, oh my goodness, why am I struggling with this? Because I put the camera too low. Whatever. I think I can board this faster just by not trying to reuse this drawing. I may have made multiple mistakes here. I did. He descends. I'm an idiot. Why did I do this? Whatever. We're gonna have the staircase there. Got the wall here. I'm gonna have him go this way. We're actually gonna have him get closer to the wall. So we can feel this empty void that's there. This is gonna be a low angle shot. And then maybe he blinks or something. No. He keeps his composure. He blinks here, but he feels more cool about it. He's unflinching. And he's gonna turn. Then we're gonna quickly, the camera's gonna raise up to his level. We're gonna go up along his shoulder. We're gonna see what's behind him. Bunch of people, bunch of elite soldiers or something. Be like, listen up. This is what I was saying, is I'm going to have to break people down to basic shapes. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cut behind them. And then what we're going to also do, I might cheat and have an animated background. But oops, I accidentally switched to a different kind of brush. So we're going to have him here. Let's say he's going to I'm going to need these characters to be a little higher up in the composition. They're kind of low. So he's going to give some sort of rousing speech. You know, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to duplicate a whole bunch of panels first. See, like this. And shift them down the line. What the heck? Oh, that guy, his head got dislocated. I'm just going to shift them down the line like that. Duplicate. Shift them down the line like that. Duplicate. Shift them down the line like that. Duplicate. Shift. And then that. You might think this is cheating because I'm now going to get much closer to my shot count because of this. And you were right, that is almost kind of cheating. Well, no, I'm still drawing his acting for all this. So he needs to quickly, in this speech, I have no idea what his speech is, but he's giving one. If you notice, he's not taking up a huge portion of the screen because I kind of want to make it apparent that maybe he's a little underconfident in this. Normally with this kind of shot, you don't have them move throughout the scene. I think you have them rigid and they stay only in one spot. We can have, as soon as we cut behind that guy, maybe we cut in. I'm going to delete the shot. We're going to cut in close. Like really close. So it's like a long lens or something. So I see. We will see, cutting close from another person. I'm gonna get a bigger brush. I am a general person giving you advice that may or may not be good. We may or may not win. This is exactly the same that I said I wouldn't do, and I've done it out of cliches. I'm gonna have him turn and hold over onto this screen. just to see what it does. And maybe just this little pause, we can do something interesting with that. The fact that there's someone here that he hasn't quite gotten to yet. See how that feels. This person's gonna speak. And we still need to get an arc and push. I have this character seem a little different. He's got a big sword. And he's got a big beard. Maybe he realizes the plan is bad or something like that. I don't know. He's sitting on some boxes or something like that. There's someone else here who's looking a little... maybe this is a rowdier group of mercenaries or something. Okay, sorry. My brain blipped out. Because I realized that I do not have a solution for this arc and push. Wait, maybe I do. I just need someone else to enter the scene. He's mad at whatever that mercenary guy said. And someone else is going to step in. And switch sides to stop him. Okay. This is the rowdy group over here. Yeah, I'm trying to think. How does this shot work? He steps over here. I'm going to make this guy have a square head. The square head guy goes that way. Maybe we can see some of the mercenaries over there. So change. Going that way. And then I don't think we need this kind of shot. I think we need something that's like 3/4 low angle here. Here's square guy that I mentioned earlier. Here's him. He should be further into the foreground. So then that way we can still see the mercenaries in the background, maybe. We have our character. And so this is going to shrink as the camera pushes in. We're going to get a shot like this, where they are both looking towards something. So that was supposed to be my last drawing. We are literally almost at the snap, or the arc and push. Yeah, this guy has a square head. This did not turn out how I wanted it to. I wanted him to be a little... And this composition to work a little differently. But, what can you do? I've already drawn it. I'm gonna do... Yep. See, this is my problem. I need to get all this stuff done earlier. I should have started with the arc and push. So let's see. Man, people looking at destroyed scenery seems to be my theme, my motif so far. Okay, destruction, something. Chaos is over there. It's on the horizon. I don't know what it is, but it's something. So they're gonna start talking. See, this is what I was talking about, how you use an OTS. It's because they're gonna start chatting. You have one guy who's talking about blah. One guy who's leaning. You get the other guy who's trying to be upright, but he's nervous. We're just gonna go back and forth between these two. The other guy's gonna make a... Get a little closer. He's gonna make some sort of... He's gonna put his hand on his head, making some sort of counter argument. The other guy who's trying to be upright is maybe a little irritated at this whole situation. Guy who has hand on his head. Camera's gonna be closer to him because he's gonna yell or something. We know, we've seen this kind of scene in movies before. But this guy isn't gonna react too much. Even though he was just kind of reacting in the previous scene. Look down maybe a little bit. He's gonna look away. And then, oh, can we get our arc and push? Camera's gonna back off of him a little bit to show that there's a release in tension. And maybe we cut to another wide shot like this. Because as I mentioned, it's release intention. Because it's release intention, we can have them talk about the site that they're seeing in front of them. And then maybe have like some guy in the foreground walk by to motivate a character moving. So that's something that should be noted, is that in movies you can use background characters. Actually, characters in general are like B characters or extras. You can use them to motivate characters to leave conversations. So that person just walked by, and so then this character on cue is going to look to see what's happening. And then that's going to motivate him to then end this conversation. And that is going to motivate me to get to an arc and push, like I said I was going to. So he's going to be looking this way. This is the guy who's leaning up against the wall. Square head. At an angle like this. This is not normally how you do an arc and push. Maybe. Again, I haven't done one of these kinds of shots in a long time. You know what? I'm just gonna draw where it needs to end, and then I can hook it up. It needs to end with this character looking on, and this character looking off to the side as he's getting up. Square man. It's like, dude, what you're about to do is crazy. Yeah, so this is interesting because normally with an arc and push, or at least how the book describes it, this is for bringing characters closer together. But in this instance, I'm using it to show that maybe they are on the same page, but one of them can't acknowledge it. Okay. And so then we're going to cut to the shot of him standing alone on this massive, massive wall. Or something like that. There's the mercenaries, there's the soldiers. Not a great composition, but with another pass, I'd make it look a little better. There needs to be some sort of roof or something. Maybe that's the staircase he came down. I don't know. Let's just make this wall even taller. It's the world's tallest wall. I mean, there's like a bastion over there. Not the character. Or like on a cliffside or something. Ooh, there could be a little waterfall. Like maybe that's the city has like a stream or something running through it. Yeah, there's a waterfall. Okay. Yep. Yep, I do. Alright, now I gotta... It'd be faster for me to just remove that guy and try and fix all these drawings. I'm just gonna do that. I'm just gonna move this guy again. I drew them all in the same layer. Okay. Alright, does this scene actually make any sense? Maybe it does. Oh, howdy. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat. Yeah, okay. So let's see this, if all this makes sense. So, give me a second. Because one of my timers is about to go off. Okay, so again, we're using Master Shots Volume 2 by Christopher Kenworthy. One drawing every 15 to 20 seconds. I got 109 drawings in, but I went a little overtime, so whatever, still pretty alright. And the point is to combine two sections from the book. I have a dice generator that can just roll random numbers from 10 to 120, because that's how the book is set up in terms of its sections. So one of the key points was to get a pacing shot in, where a character walks back and forth in front of people. And then the other one was to get an arc and push, where a camera arcs to show a negative space between two characters, and to make it feel like they should be getting closer together. In a romantic scene, they might smooch. In this scene, it's to get close because they're almost in the same, they almost agree with each other, but they don't. And so, yeah, let's see if we got those both in. So we have this character, he's talking to someone, someone's like telling him it's gonna be okay. Something like that. He's walking, he's a little nervous. Outside the door, we see there's something, there's some sort of commotion, there's explosions, and there's two people watching it. So that draws our eye out there, because now we're curious what's happening out there, and he's descending into some sort of madness. This is a wall for like a castle or something. He's walking, he looks out, he takes a deep breath, he's talking to this line of soldiers. So here's our pacing shot. We cut in real close. And then he looks back behind him, and someone says something. It's like this group of mercenaries, and they're not having it. He gets mad for a second, and someone pulls him off to the side. Hey, get over here. So they're talking. You can see some sort of commotion in the distance. Guy says something. He doesn't react to it. Guy's a little irritated at his response. He's still not going to change. He gets mad. He barely moves because he made some sort of point that's relevant to his character personality, but he ignores it. The guy, oh man. It's like, okay. So then we cut to this to release tension. Someone in the background moves to motivate that character to move because he sees that motion. And so this is going to help end the conversation, wrap it up real quickly. They make some ending points where we get our arc and push. And then he says a point into his ear. And so it's almost like, ooh, maybe he hears it. Maybe he agrees, but he can't, he can't show it. The guy turns around, and we cut to this extreme wide. And there's a nice waterfall that I threw into this. All right. Yeah. That turned out pretty okay. I will admit that one was really stressful to do because I didn't really know the characters or the narrative. as always. And so I really had to figure out what this was going to be about as I was doing it. To make matters even worse, I originally stated that this would not be military themed, and then it immediately became military themed within 5 seconds. Next time, if I were to do this, I would try and push it and make it something more creative. Like maybe it's a kid talking to some toys, and that's the reason why we're having a pacing shot like that. Or maybe it's someone looking at a long list of like grocery items, or like grocery, stuff on the shelf. So it's emotionally similar to like a military pacing shot, but it's being used in a different context, and that's where the humor comes from it. That would have been more creative. You know what? The more I do these, and the more I've done them, the more creative it gets over time. So, you always want to make it interesting and use visual storytelling in creative ways that's engaging to the audience. All right. Well, I gotta go. So thank you for your time, and everyone have a good rest of your day. Bye. As soon as I hit the stop recording button, that is, if I could find it. And streaming. There it is. See ya.